What's happening, y'all, and welcome. This is episode 114. That's 114 of Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow. I am your host, the self-knighted Sir Cussalott Travis Pointer, a.k.a. the Dragon King, a.k.a. Big T, a.k.a. T-Money, a.k.a. Sweet T, a.k.a. Black Merlin, a.k.a. the HNIC. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mara the Shark Watkins.
Hello there.
How's it going today, Mara?
It is day 52 of quarantine. Doesn't matter to this podcast, but I still feel the need to share that.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm doing all right.
Just all right. How we get you to good? What can we do?
I need to get more through this drink.
There we go. Okay. Problem solvers, modern problems, modern solutions. I feel you. So
we'll get there. I'm like up to here. I need to get to like here.
Yeah, it reminds me of the show. Did you ever watch that TV show Still Standing?
Who was in it?
I don't know his real name, but King Robert from Game of Thrones. This is before Game of Thrones, though.
And I know who. Baratheon, right?
Yeah. And then
no, I know the face. I just can't think of the show.
Yeah. And then some other white people that don't matter because they were never in anything else that I saw. But anyway, It was just him and his wife, and they had 3 kids. They were awful parents, and it was hilarious. But he came home from work one day, and his kids tried to come talking to him about something. He had a beer. Imagine this is a beer bottle. He was like, I am not home until right here. So that's what that reminded me of. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here, as always, to talk about the Arrowverse on the CW. You know, Supergirl, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, formerly Arrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman. Is that all of them? We're going to say it is, because I'm not going through it again.
Supergirl, Batwoman, Black Lightning, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, formerly Arrow, also adding in Stargirl, soon to come. Mm-hmm. Probably this Canary shit.
They have not ordered that to series yet, so I will not acknowledge it. Continue.
Okay, so yeah, that's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you also want to include Constantine on CW Seed.
Does that still happen? Are there still new episodes of that though? See, if there are no new episodes, I don't acknowledge that they exist.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if you want some like more like
nope,
like knowledge into Constantine, we should use that for source material.
Yeah,
we would get through it so quickly. There's like 10 episodes.
I'll think about it.
Okay, don't say I didn't bring anything to the table.
I've never said that.
I know. I don't know why I had to say that, but
I don't know why either. You contribute plenty. All right?
Thank you. I think it's because I brought a fresh idea.
Okay.
A semi-fresh idea because we're already doing source material.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll give you that. I'll just give it to you. It's all right.
It's a tiny win. It's all I want.
W's a W. So, we got 4 shows to get through this week. So, where would you like to start?
Let's see. I'm trying to think which episode I am least. You know, I'm not even going to bother with that. We all know I'm going to choose Legends first. So let's just go.
I was wondering, like, why are we doing this right now? We all know the least interesting one.
Because I was just really sitting here thinking.
Which was actually one of the most interesting stories of the season, yet still the least interesting show of the week. So it was, you know. But yeah. Since I brought it up, though, what did you think of this episode overall?
I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was funny that, like, within seconds of me thinking something was what was happening, they had confirmed it, and I was just like, okay, that was pretty predictable. But then how it ended up going, but we'll get to that. And then I also, like, because it's also kind of like, I feel like a lot with Legends, I feel like I always kind of be like, all right, this is going in a very predictable way. And then it kind of tends to still go in that very predictable way.
Mm-hmm. They throw in a couple weird things to kind of try to throw you off a little bit, but in the end, it's still a very straightforward story most of the time. So,
yeah.
I'm
But
with you.
like in my commentary, I guess you might figure out that I realize where things are going.
Okay. So this episode kicks off with Mick walking through the park talking with his daughter. And I'm just like,
Lita,
still can't figure it out. But he trying though. He trying.
have you ever tried just parenting like a teenage girl?
No.
It's weird, and we are weird people.
I mean, I went to high school with y'all. I know you're weird, but
Nah, it's different when you're trying to raise them.
I don't know. How many teenage girls have you raised?
Not a lot, but I feel like Luna's like 3 going on 13. So
I see.
I tell you, every day I don't know if it's the fact that we're in quarantine. So it's like, I'm like looking at her a lot more 24/7 and noticing smaller things. Or if this is really just what parenting is like. Like, I feel like she's going through some weird change that should only be happening during puberty. Like emotionally, like I feel like her feelings and her emotions are like leveling up, and then she also does not understand them, which makes her frustrated, which makes us frustrated because she can't verbalize what her issue is. So like a teenage girl.
Well, she's unable to verbalize for different reasons. She just doesn't know words, so she
knows words.
She doesn't know the right ones.
Right, no, I mean, that's true. But you get what I'm saying.
She has a very limited vocabulary right now, Mar.
I know. The girl can turn the volume up on my iPad without pressing the buttons, yet she can't verbalize her feelings. I hate this generation.
Hey, man. They know how to do things in the context of things that they do. That's how people learn. It is what it is. Anyway, so they decide, Mick and daughter. What's the daughter's name? Do you have the daughter's name? Lita?
Lita.
Okay. So they decide they're going to have a father-daughter weekend.
Which is nice.
Yeah, he suggests roller derby. She's like, on the second thought, I got to study for a history test. And then he pulls up the time machine. I'm like, there you go. We got history.
You know what's funny? At first, I was like, when he said the roller derby, I was like, she looked like she would enjoy that. And then she was like, and then she turned it down. I was just like, oh.
Well, I think it was the way he described it to her that threw it off for her.
Cleavage and booze.
Yeah.
Or
if he hadn't said that, she probably would have been down to watch, girls rollerblading, kicking each other's ass. Like, I feel like she'd be down for that if he hadn't described it that way.
True. And then I was also going into like thinking about like also considering that the time period that she's also growing up in. Like, I feel like I don't hear about roller derby as much in I know it's still like a very current and ongoing thing because I know people who do it or have done it, but like I don't hear about it nearly as much as a thing in like my culture.
Me neither, though. Like
even or my generational culture.
Even when I was younger, like only time I heard of it really, like I knew it existed, but I never hear anything about it except for when I knew 2 people who were in it, and then when they were no longer in it, I didn't hear about it ever again. So it's just it's one of those things.
Like, I just feel like it's not something that is mainstream pop culture.
Nah, not at all.
Which is cool, which I think is what leads to the appeal of it.
Right. Which is why, had he not described it that way, she probably would have been down. So then we got some moments with Constantine and Astra on the wave, right? Because he's just like, see, you're here now. All right, well, I guess we got to deal with the fact that you're here. Pretty much. Here comes Gary. Gary has a new emotional support dog. He's got a note from his doctor. And I'm like,
Only Gary
I'm about to say
would
this
need
is
a support animal.
this is one of the most Gary things that has ever happened on this show. Because Gary thinks it's just okay to bring his emotional support dog on the time machine. You know, it's just
I don't get you, man. Like, wants to become like an all-powerful warlock, but needs a support animal.
I mean, if I could become a wizard, I'd like to have a little wizard dog with me too, though. So I can't even be mad about that. It's the fact that he thought it was okay to bring the damn thing on a time machine.
There is that.
So then we have this whole thing because they have all three rings, which I hadn't even really thought about. Like I knew at the end of the episode, like they had gotten the rings back and all that shit, but I'm just like, oh, they have all three now. It just didn't really like register in my head. So anyway, they're arguing over who they're going to use it on first. You know, are we going to bring back Astra's mother? Are we going to bring back, you know, Zari's brother? Who's coming back first? You know?
You know what was funny during that whole argument? Because at first I was sitting there thinking like, why can't we all do all three in one shot? Like what? Like, or like, how long does the loom need to recharge?
Exactly. Like, why does it matter what order we do them in if we're going to do them all anyway?
Right. If we're going to get them all done today, does it matter what order we take them in? Like, if whether it's
or even
5
if we're,
seconds,
or even if we're
minutes,
just going to get them all done this week, you know? It's just like, bruh, chill.
Right. So, because I was really just like, I don't understand why this is like this, but
yeah. Like it like logically it would have made sense. You fix Sarah first because she's in a coma. You need her. You need your captain around because she's got to lead shit. And also you need another body. You need a fighter around because shit goes down with y'all. Makes the most logical sense to bring her back next. Then you bring back the next member of your fucking crew. All right, like
right. Sorry, Astra. We are here, you know, to we're here to help you get your mom back, but at the same time, it's like, we don't trust you. First of all, it's just your mom. She's just chilling.
And honestly, you've gone this long. You can wait a little while longer. All right. So
we had Berad like 5 days ago. I need him back now.
Yeah. But anyway, they had the argument. And they decide they're gonna start with the bro. So she gets all the rings and shit. They all got to put on these special glasses.
I'd imagine because the light would burn them from the inside out of the loom.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I assumed it was because they look like blackout glasses. It just kind of looks like if you look at the loom with like the naked eye, you will die or go blind. Because I was really sitting there thinking like, I really just kind of want to see one of them peek out for like a millisecond and just see what happens.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you feel like, you know, if they had the time to do more episodes or more things around this, Mick would have peaked.
Right. Like I was kind of just like, I just want to see what happens to someone literally for a fraction of a second. Like not completely go blind, not maim them, but be like, ah, okay.
Yeah, like it'll burn him. Like he had end up with a permanent scar, like right here on his eye, some shit, or his eyes like kind of damaged or some shit. Yeah,
exactly.
But anyway, they need the special glasses. But then when she's trying to fix, she's like, okay, this is gonna be complicated because you know all the time travel and shit, and you know on top of the fact that he's supposed to be dead anyway. Yeah. But yeah, something goes wrong. There's an explosion. Knocks everybody out, knocks the ship's power out. The ship is stuck now. Things are not going very well. So, in the midst of this, after it all is over, Sarah somehow, you know, she's awake now. I mean, I guess a shock from the Lumen Fate will do that, you know, get you out of that coma.
Yeah.
But she can't see.
She blind as fuck.
Yeah, man. However, she sees other things.
She's having visions.
Of the future.
All these visions. You know, I was like, maybe these are of the future, or maybe they are they're of the future, or are they like just, well, yeah, I mean, still would roll under the future, but is it just specifically to how they die, or is it just of the near future?
I don't know. They were never
Um,
really specific about that.
I don't know why that was so hard to get out.
I don't know either, but it happens. So after all that, she's seeing visions, and then we got Astra and Zari talking, and Astra tries to convince Zari, like, "Yo, go and tell them that they should bring back my mom because it's less complicated, and we give Charlie a chance to warm up a little bit, and then she can get your brother back." And I'm like, you tricky motherfucker.
You tricky bitch.
So we then get some more time with Mick and Leela, and she needs help with some history stuff. And Mick's like, I know a guy. So he goes and gets Nate, and he's gonna help her out. And they tell him to go get snacks from the little food replicator thingy. I don't know what they call it on this ship, but I just said replicator because that's what they call it on Star Trek.
Replicator, duplicator.
Yeah, I don't know.
Onomatopoeinator. I don't know.
So,
yep, that's hitting.
So every one of Sarah's visions we mentioned before, people are dead. And she's like, what the fuck happened? Then she discovers that Astra's on the ship. She don't like that shit. She discovers Gary's got a dog on the ship. She's like, what the fuck? Like, there's a whole lot of what the fuck happening for Sarah right now. Like, Astra's there. There's a dog there. Mick done brought his daughter on the ship. She's just like, hey, but what the fuck you been doing?
I feel like whenever Sarah just walks away for a moment, not walks away, but when she's like absent for a period of time, I feel like she always comes back to find that like things are not going the way that they should be.
Yeah, everything's always in disarray.
I feel like she needs to stop being surprised when that happens.
I don't think she's surprised that things went awry, but it's just the things that did happen. It's just like, of all the things, you bring what has essentially been our worst enemy on this ship, and then while our recent worst enemy has been on this ship, Mick brought his daughter on here with her. Like, what is wrong with y'all? I feel like she would have got over the dog thing if the other two things hadn't also happened.
Yeah, because she'd be like, all right, the dog is a nuisance, but, you know.
Yeah. So, speaking of the dog shit on the floor. So Gary's got to pick up the shit, and he goes to throw it in the trash chute, and he's like, what the fuck is this?
I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were talking about Bear for a second because I can hear him walking around.
Yeah, he's still bothering me. Like, he just walked back over here now because he wants attention.
I was just like, I thought you were saying, so on that note, Bear just shit on the floor.
No, he doesn't do that.
I thought you were like, Bear, it's not that bad. It can't be that bad.
Yeah, I can't even, like, if I would have tried, I can't even remember the last time Bear shit on the floor. What was I talking about? Oh, Gary. So Gary, he picks up his dog shit and throws it in the trash. You're like, yo, what the fuck is this? And we come to find out later, it's the case thing that had the loom in it, like all the rings and shit, but it's empty. And they're like, yo, where the fuck are the rings? And of course, everybody's like, Astra did that shit. Because I'd have been like, Astra did that shit. So, But then we see, they get her locked up, and then like, oh, wait, some other shit. Wait. Oh, guess she didn't do it. But she might have did it. We don't know. We still are suspicious. You can't be trusted.
I mean, she hasn't given him a reason to trust him yet, but
exactly.
Not like she's had a couple, like she's had like a moment, but like not enough to be like,
What moment?
Why not?
When is she giving them a reason to trust her?
I think when Lakesis offered to make her a sister, a fate sister, and she went and helped Ava and Gary get
They
back.
didn't see that though.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like she's only like only like Ava she gave that to, kind of, because Ava was there. She got Ava and Gary free, but for everyone else, no. I think that's all I was getting across.
Mm-hmm. I can give you that.
Thank you.
But outside of that, it was just, to me, it was just like, yo, they don't really have a reason to trust her. Like, you've tried to kill us multiple times. So it's just, like you just gave Constantine accelerated killer lung cancer.
You gave him like terminal cancer. Like.
So then we find out some more about Mick's daughter. We find out that, she's against guns. This is when she's finding out what everybody else on the ship can do. She's like, everybody's got powers on this ship. Do you have a power? I'm like, I got this. And he shows her the heat wave gun. She's like, so you have a gun? I'm like, it's a fire gun. But she's like, yeah, she's completely against guns. I'm like, and I'm thinking, like, everybody on the ship doesn't have powers. Like, Ava doesn't have powers. She's just a clone. Sarah doesn't have powers, but she's a badass assassin, so that kind of counts as powers. So not everybody. Gary ain't got shit. He just has an emotional support dog.
Yeah.
But then this is when we find out though that the visions that Sarah is seeing, that she's the one that's killing people. Or at least she killed one of them because she saw her reflection in the little glass that she used to kill Constantine.
I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember what that's called.
What's called?
The glass thingy.
What do you mean what it's called?
Isn't there like a special name for it? Wouldn't there be like a regular name for it, or is it just glass?
It's glass. I don't even know. I don't even know what you're trying to. I mean, like a glass shard? Is that what you're thinking of? Or like it's just a piece of glass?
Sorry.
You all right over there?
Yes, that whole interaction has made me laugh.
Okay. So then we see like a whole lot of fucked up shit has happened, like, and Zarya done hacked into the cameras and shit to see what happened. And she realizes that she was the one that sabotaged the cameras. Nate was the one that messed up the replicator.
With the food.
Yeah. And who was
Charlie threw out the ring.
Yeah, Charlie threw out the rings.
Charlie flushed the rings.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I was like, wait, it was the dog? And then we find out the dog came from hell. And then we find out it was Son of Sam's dog. And it's like, well, shit, Gary. Like, fucking Gary.
Right. And I was like, this is really something that only Gary would be capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, couldn't just go somewhere and just compel someone to let him adopt a dog. No, he had to get one from hell.
Yeah. And the dog he got from hell just happened to be Son of Sam's dog, because
a hellhound. And it's just kind Gary. Of like, it's just like, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Gary, sweetheart, how? Why would you even think that a dog in hell would be the right choice? It's just kind of like, you don't think that dog got there for a certain reason?
Yeah.
You thought the dog was just accidentally there by chance?
Yeah. See, and we learned a long time ago, all dogs go to heaven, sir. So if this dog is in hell, he must have done something awful.
Real fucked up.
Like awful.
I'm talking like Dingo ate my baby awful. It's
Or,
probably something he's done.
I mean, he was Son of Sam's dog, so he's the one that told Son of Sam to kill all these motherfuckers. So through a series of events, they end up getting him. Mick has this moment where he saves his daughter's life. They catch him, all that shit. Once that's all over, we're like, all right, Gary, you got to get a different pet. So he gets like this weird little rabbit thing.
He can't feed past midnight.
Yeah, that he got from some market. Yeah.
From some shady market dude.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
The fact that you have to describe him that way, Gary, should tell you right off the bat, maybe not someone you should get a pet from.
So yeah. So instead of having Son of Sam's dog, he has a gremlin. For those of you who haven't seen it and don't get that reference, yes, that's a Gremlins thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Wonder if he's allowed to get them wet. Probably not. Let's see. And then Mick and his daughter have that bonding moment, which stems from earlier when she saw all the treasures and shit that they've stolen to kind of pay for shit. And she's like, oh, we can go in the early times and play the stock market and we'll be fucking rich. We can make this and this. And he's like, oh, nope. We're leaving now. We're out of here. We're locking this up. You stay the fuck out of here. Which, not the best way of going about that, but I understand.
Because, and it's funny. I was just like, when she was saying all that, I was like, that's a really fucking idea. And I was just like, I see. He realizes that she's more like him than he thought. And he was just like, nah.
No, we are not doing this. Stay the fuck. I had to learn to stop fucking with the timeline because, yeah. We are constantly fixing the timeline, so I need to stop you from fucking it up.
Yeah. Can't have you doing this. My boss will kill me.
Yeah. She will. So yeah, they have a bonding moment. She eventually like, yeah, I understand, and blah blah blah. Even though they never had a conversation as to why, she just says, I understand, and I'll just let them have it because I'm just done picking at legends like that.
And I'm kind of just like, I'm also tired. Like, I don't know. It's just like it's nice to see like a different side of outside of them just doing stuff. Like they're showing Mick trying to be like a dad. And I was like, but I don't care. I really don't care.
That tends to just be the story when it comes to legends, though. It's just, why do I care? Then we get this moment where Zari is once again just, stalking to Astra, and then they're like, need to try to get along and blah 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 blah, and Astra's just not having it. They had a moment earlier where Astra was, picking at Zari, talking about, hey, Constantine chose me over you, and that makes you mad, and blah 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 blah.
She was like, I feel like you see something here that's not really there, and you're trying to play on it, and blah blah blah. And it's like the fact that you needed to go through all that lets me know that she's right.
Yeah. So then we finally get the moment where Gideon's back up and running, and she's trying to. They lay Sarah down, like, all right, Gideon, fix her eyes real quick so we can get a move on. And she was like, yo, I'm scanning. Ain't nothing wrong with her eyes, man. Like, can't fix it. Which is one of those no shit moments, because it wasn't like her eyes just got burned or some shit. She got divined in the eye,
Right, because so
it sounded dirtier than I wanted it to, but yeah.
So I still think that, well, not still think. Well, so when Gideon says that her blindness is not an abnormality, when Sarah first woke up and she was seeing the visions, I was just like, I bet you she has some power that will let her become a fate sister, or she'll be able to help Charlie use the loom, or some shit. And that's kind of like, because like remember when Atropos like shocked the shit out of her, she was like, what are like she's something different and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be, and they'll need 3, so it'll be her, Charlie, and Astra.
Who?
Astra.
Oh, Astra. Thank you. Sorry. But yeah, so I was just like, okay, this is what they're gonna do. Like that, I was like, this is kind of like what it seems like they're setting it up to be, because like ever since like, because we thought maybe Sarah survived it because of her past, given the League and the pit and all that stuff and Lazarus Pit, and so it was like, okay, maybe it's like that kind of stuff. It's like, no, you're actually meant to be something more and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just back to like during Crisis when they were like, you are what were they called?
Paragons.
The paragon for this. It's because Sarah's a paragon of something. But she is
They
now
said it in this episode too. I forgot what it was.
You're able to be a fate sister now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Cool. All right. Where you want to go next?
Let's see. How much do? Oh shit. Let's go with Supergirl, because I also like half of this episode was a lot of flashbacking. So, well, not flashbacks, but like shit we've kind of seen.
Yeah, shown from
Which
Lex's
I'm like,
perspective. This whole thing was basically about how Lex was behind everything that happened after Crisis.
also, we didn't mention it, but the episode of Legends is called Shipbroken, and Supergirl is called Deus Lex Machina.
Deus Ex.
Deus Lex Machina.
Yeah. It's okay.
So apparently my cup is heavier than I thought it was.
So you thought you had more left?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which means I drank more than I thought I had done. So you're only on episode 2 on the second episode. This is gonna be fun.
So this episode kicks off with Lex getting credit for saving all those folks in the little thingy place that I'd forgotten all about. I had to not rewatch, but start running through everything that happened before in my head, try to figure out what was going on because it's been so long.
The coma people.
Yeah. I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about at first. It took me a while to realize what they were getting at. But he's getting credit for saving all of them. And they're just like, yo, what the fuck? How? Then we get a flashback to right after Crisis. Find out that Lex, because he had made a deal with the Monitor, which is why he's such a fucking big shot. Everybody loves him. He told his mother everything that had happened with all of it, why the world is the way it is, and all of that shit. She also convinces him chill on his hate of the Kryptonians. You need to go team up with Lena. The two of you make this happen. And then that meeting with Lena is when she tells him about Leviathan, and we kind of saw that before, but we got more detail on it this time. Lex researches Leviathan, and this is when he goes to Eve Tessmacher. So before we go any further, there was times when Eve was on the screen, and then there were other times when Gemma Cooper was on the screen, and I didn't know which was which. It was hard for me to tell them apart, and I was just
because they're pasty white women.
Another one is just this same blonde white girl. Oh wait, that's not Eve. Okay, who is that? Okay, that's Gemma. Okay. And he's talking to her again later. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not Gemma. That's Eve. Okay. It's just there's a whole lot of that going on every time. I'm just like, which one are you?
Because they're pasty white women.
Yeah. So she's stuck working for Leviathan because I guess it had something to do with her parents. Yeah, somebody killed her father and they're threatening to kill her mother.
Yep.
And so she has to work for them, so they won't do that. So he convinces her to work for him. He says, like, I'll protect your mother. You work for me, and I'll help you find the man who actually killed your father, and you can take your revenge on him. She ends up falling in love with Lex, and we see that Eve was the one who killed Jeremiah because Lex sent her to do it, saying that he was the one that killed her father.
Yo, when they revealed that, I was just like, ah! I was just like, of course, that is what happened, because him dying was all of a sudden out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his body turning up was like the most random, out of left field shit. Like, because that's why I think I even said it last episode. I was just like, I forgot all about Jeremiah. I forgot he was even alive until they said they found his body. And I was like, where did that come from? Now it makes more sense.
Yeah. Then we have this back and forth between Lex and Lena, and I forgot what was Supergirl using that was like that got Lena all pissed off.
Myriad.
Yeah, that shit. And so she goes back to, she's like, I gotta go talk to her about this shit, 'cause this is some fuck shit, and blah, 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 blah. And I'll go do it. And Lex like, I can go with you. And she's like, no, you're not going to the Fortress of Solitude. I don't trust you. But then he gives her a device to use, and she just uses his shit to go to the Fortress of Solitude. Like, he can't track that shit. Like, what makes you... I was so irritated by that shit. It's just like, so you just gonna use his shit though, like, but you tell him he can't go because you don't want him to know where it's at, but you're gonna use his device.
Because that's how blind Lena is.
Yeah. So she goes in, and of course, well, not of course, but the Dominator follows her in there. And shit goes bad because, they have that argument between Lena and Supergirl, where Lena's just not listening to reason because she's just convinced that, that everybody hates her and nobody can love her. So,
I mean, at the rate she's going, she's not wrong.
yeah, I mean, it's becoming self-inflicted. But then we got the Dominator goes in, he lets out the Sun Eater. Because why the fuck not? He didn't have enough to deal with already. So yeah, we need a big monster for them to fight. So let's let out the Sun Eater. Zaps up all the Supergirl strength, and he goes for the sun. And once talk about out of the fucking blue, Magan just shows up. She's just here now. She's just here now. Here I am. Let's go stop this. So her and John go up to stop it. They get the little Lex suit to Supergirl to go up and help, and they, stop the Sun Eater. They get it back. All's well. There's also a random Jason Mewes sighting. So that was fun. Do you not know who Jason Mewes is?
No.
Jay and Silent Bob. It's Jay.
Oh, okay. I was just like, what?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he was there. So he's like, oh, what's up, Jason? We're on a first day in basics. Be cool as fuck like that.
Oh, okay.
He liked one of my tweets one time, so we cool as fuck now. So then we have this time with Lex and Gemma Cooper. They're having a talk, and he convinces her that they need to kill Supergirl because Lex just can't let this shit go, which will be his downfall.
Right, because Lex is like it's like a kid with a one-track mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just like, I'm hell bent on beating this, even though I could just do this.
And
he
I'd
lost.
win. Yeah, I would win if I just stay on this course right here.
Right. Like doing other stuff. Like if he does the things that like he has done in this timeline and like in this reality, no one would have an issue. But the fact is, you are so fixated on Superman, Supergirl, it's gonna be his downfall, and it always is.
Mm-hmm. And then he has that moment with Eve, like well, not right after, but very soon after this meeting with Gemma Cooper, and that was another moment when I was confused because I didn't know which one it was. I'm like, wait, why is she making him dinner now? Oh, that's the other one. Okay, and he proceeds to break her heart because he's like, oh, she fell in love with you before, and I knew you'd do it again now, and I'm not letting it happen again. So fuck you, but you're gonna keep working for me because guess what? Those men who are sitting outside your mother's house gardening her, yeah. If I tell them to, they'll kill her. So you're just gonna do what the fuck I tell you if you want your mother to stay alive.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when she was telling him, she was like, "Be together," and I was like, "Oh, Eve." But don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, Lex also had me like convinced, and he was like, "I feel the same way," and I was like, I should have known that." He was like, "No, he doesn't."
But that's the thing. He even said it on the other earth. He fell in love with her too. So it was just like he wasn't going to let that happen again. So the thing is, weirdly, he's capable of love.
I don't
However,
know.
he's also just, he's still Lex. So, but yeah, he goes through the whole thing about how you used her and all that kind of shit. And yeah,
It kind of almost remind. Have you seen Frozen?
no, I refuse.
Okay. Well,
I think we've had
Tangy
this conversation about how my nieces ruined it for me, and I just will not watch it.
probably. Well, the part. So like, I remember when I didn't see Frozen when it first came out. I don't remember when I actually ended up seeing it, but like, I remember everyone talking about the supreme burn that came on later in the movie when what is that nigga's name? Oh my god. Hans says to Anna, uh, he was like, it's crazy to he was like, it was like, what a foolish thing to think that I could ever love you. And I was just like, ah, my feelings burned. And like memes came up of it and all that shit. Like it was a funny time to be on the internet. Um,
Kind of reminds me of
and
Littlefinger on Game of Thrones, and he was telling Liza, he's like, "I've loved the same woman for my entire life." Your
yeah,
sister.
it's literally it was kind of pretty much that. Only it's not that he was in love with his sister. It's just kind of like, you stupid bitch, you really thought I was in love with you after 5 minutes of meeting, and blah 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 blah. But like, so pretty much when Lex was saying like, when he's pretty much like dubbing her, I was like, this is exactly I feel like how it
Wait, he was
felt
pretty much was what?
dubbing her,
I'm gonna need you to.
denying,
I'm gonna
shutting her
need you
down,
to translate that New York shit. All right.
shutting her down, saying no, denying, blocking, all that mean shit.
Okay.
Um, that I was just like, if he says it's crazy that you could think I could ever love, if he says anything along those lines, I'm gonna lose my shit in humor, like not in like, oh, hurt,
Mm-hmm.
but like in like, oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. They use Frozen. They reference Frozen.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. That was Supergirl. Anything else?
pretty much. Oh yeah, he goes back and he goes to the fortress, which doesn't surprise
Oh
anybody.
yeah, no shit.
It's hilarious that that even he was like, no, I'm not gonna go. Oh, fuck it.
Like he knows it's like I should not do this. I need to go all the way through with my plan. I can fuck with this later, but no, he just can't help himself. He can't help
He
himself.
really cannot. And I was just like, God damn it, Lena. As much I feel like Lena does stuff that she does stuff intentionally in hopes that it will show the good that she's trying to do. And then I feel like it always ends up backfiring and just emphasizing making it seem more like she has ill intent to do things. Like she went there because she was just like, Kara said that Myriad was super dangerous and no one should use it, because of the fact that I'm trying to save, like, I want the best for humanity. I want to verify that Kara is not using Myriad, So I feel like she went there with the intention of Kara wouldn't be using it after she just emphasized how dangerous it is. But like,
yeah, she went there because she wanted to go off on Kara.
Well, no, I feel like she always wants to go off on Kara, but like, I feel like she goes in her brain. She's going because she thinks it's for the best. She thinks she's going for a good. She's either going to prove herself right, or she still thinks she's going for the better, like, for the better of humanity, because she, we all think Kara, tripping, because you said it. But I feel like every time Lena does something in hopes that it will prove her right, it just makes her look more and more unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends up making it worse for other people, because look what happened. Now Lex was all up in your browser history, and now he's in all your porn tabs.
Yeah. And judging all your shit. And then
right, and
now he's also got access to your friends list, and now he's adding all your friends.
Yep. He's tagging you and shit online and trying to expose you.
Oh man. All right. Where to next?
Batwoman, of course. Batwoman and The Flash were top tier this week, I feel.
Really?
I thought I really enjoyed Batwoman. Like, Batwoman was my favorite episode this week, but I liked where Flash progressed to, because it had to, because next week is the finale.
Yeah. I mean, they only got one more episode, so they had to move it along. So anyway, this episode was called what?
If you believe in me, I'll believe in you.
Yeah, and that's what this episode was really about. Was about, about Kate being able to trust Mary to help with the Batwoman shit,
Because Mary wants to be part of the team, unsure what she can bring yet. Which I feel like if Kate would just acknowledge her, I feel like that would work out really well. Even though she kind of pretty much had it before, I was like, you have a resident doctor.
Yeah.
You have an in-house doctor. You get shot at, stabbed, bit, maimed, hit, maced, burned, whatever. Mary's got you.
Yeah.
And she can keep her secret.
So, starts out, there's something deal going down with harvesting organs, but like
the organs are still in the people.
Yeah. There's some disassembly required.
When they showed him, he was like, "Here is your 6 hearts, 12 lungs, 5 livers," and I was just like, "Oh, okay, that's gross." And then you open the truck, and it's people still breathing, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, that's where those numbers came from, because they're all still inside the people.
And I was like, five, I'm pretty sure those numbers didn't all add up, and you're probably sitting there, like, when you kind of go through the math, you're like, 5 livers? There's 6 people. How are there 5 livers?
I don't know. Maybe one of them is no good,
12 kidneys, or you hear 11 kidneys.
Yeah, so somebody got a kidney removed. One of them has a really bad liver because they have a drinking problem.
Right. But everything else is great.
Everything else is good. It would have been better if they been short a set of lungs because one of them is a smoker, But anyway, so Batwoman breaks this whole deal up. And when they get back, and Mary is trying to celebrate, like, yo, how do you guys usually celebrate? I got champagne here, blah, blah, blah. And Kate's like, I celebrate by icing my hand. And she takes the champagne out and puts her hand down in the fucking champagne thing. And
am I the only one who kind of wonders, like, because I feel like the amount that Mary wants to be back up, because you even see it later when Mary wants to be back up for Kate later on. I was like, do you think this is what she's going to become? What was she calling her cousin in the comics?
Oh shit, I forgot.
Like plebe or something.
Yeah, something.
But like, and I was like, do you think, because we haven't seen a cousin,
right.
And it's not, clearly they're not masking her as Julia, because Julia is clearly an ex and Julia's already trained. But it's like, do you think Mary might be like a fill-in for Bet or Betty, whatever the fuck her name is?
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten that conversation.
Yeah. We still don't know. But
no one has confirmed that for us, guys. So if you subscribe to the Patreon and you watch source material, the link will be in the notes somewhere, description. You can see us talk about the Batwoman source material. Real credit. Talking about Batwoman, you'll know who we're talking about. How the hell do we say Betty or Bet? Bette.
And the older episodes are on YouTube, so you can find them there, and they're on podcast services. So it's the new episodes that are on Patreon.
Yeah. So if you want to hear from the beginning, those are free. Mm-hmm. Think of them as like a trial, and then go subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
There's other stuff in there as well. But yeah, I don't know how to say her name, but like, I keep feeling like Mary is like that fill-in, because it's like she's someone who would need formal training, but it's almost like, it's like she wants to help, but it's trying to figure out how to help, or like where to find out where she's useful, which they haven't figured that out yet. Besides, her medical expertise, not to take away from her years of schooling.
Yeah, it's one of those things I feel like they're just leaving it open for a possibility. They might do it, they might not. Just like how,
in the Flash, when Iris was like the Flash for like a second.
Yeah. Or like, how they kind of, they've got Luke Fox there. I think it's inevitable that eventually he becomes Batwing, but we'll see.
I don't know that far into the story.
Well, it's not a Batwoman thing. It's just he's part of the Bat family. He becomes Batwing.
Because I didn't know Luke Fox existed.
Yeah.
Until this, so like that's how like at first, because I remember I think in the beginning of the season I was like, so is he like, is this Lucius Fox, or is this a child of, or what? And then we eventually got confirmed it was a kid of, which makes sense because Batwoman comes after Batman. So
yeah. So we'll see what they do with Mary and Luke. I think it's more likely for Luke to become Batwing than it is for Mary to become whatever Bets or Betty.
Firebird.
Yeah, her.
She had another name though in the comic. She has a secondary name that I think
that was more of an affectionate thing between cousins kind of thing. Yeah.
But that's why I feel like, because they haven't revealed anyone else in Kate's family, aside from Beth/Alice and her dad, I feel like Mary is kind of like that pseudo for her, because of the fact it's someone else that Papa Kane would be, protective of, the way he's protective of Bet, and because we don't have a mention of a stepmother or stepsister in the comics that we know of, and because it also would take place before when those comics start technically. So I'm still sitting here hoping that they will bring us the woman in the water story. I'm hoping for it, because I feel like that'd be
the
really
weeping
cool.
woman.
Yes, I want to see it. I've been so invested reading it. Now I want to see it come to life.
Yes. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think I should have lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, it wasn't your fault. It was my fault. Let's rewind. You're talking about the comic books. Firebird. Go ahead. Go. Go. Yeah, but yeah, like we were talking about before, though, you're gonna want to come and check out source material. While we're talking about Patreon, let me go ahead and talk about all the Patreon stuff since I got time. Also, if you're a wrestling fan, Smacking and Raw, we have things going on Patreon there also. Little thing that we got to call Return to Wrestling. I got Matt going back and watching old WCW stuff. He hates so much of it, and I love the fact that he hates it.
Which is funny because he also has me watching reality TV about wrestling.
Oh, you still watching Total Divas?
I gave it a break for a few weeks because with everything the way it was, watching reality TV show about people and their fabulous lives and stuff like that literally was not sitting out all right with me for a while. Like I even stopped watching the Kardashians, so I was like, I need a break. I need fantasy television.
I feel you. He mentioned, I think it was last week, that he's get in contact with you because he wants to see where you're at and see if you're far enough to where you all can watch Evolution. But yeah, what else was I talking about? Patreon. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny to me. I enjoy making him watch bad wrestling because I actually enjoy bad wrestling. Bad wrestling is great to me. It's hilarious. I love it. He does not. But also, if you subscribe a little bit higher at Patreon, you can get what we call the behind the scenes content, which is exactly what it sounds like. Doing is there now. And check that out. See what's happening when we're not recording the show. We're just, getting ready to record or just shooting the shit before we start the show. It's fun stuff. We can start moving back into the show. So Kate's icing her knuckles right now because that's still where we are. We're still at the beginning. Mary wants to be involved. Kate is not with that shit. Then we get Sophie and Julia, and they're searching for Lucius Fox's journal through Tommy Elliott's old belongings. And Kate, at the same time, is going to Arkham because she wants to talk to Tommy. Like, yo, we need to have a talk, which was weird to me. But then I'm like, she must have some kind of plan with this because there's no reason for her to just go and talk to Tommy like that. And after the whole thing is over with, Alice is waiting for him in his cell. And Mouse in his fake doctor getup is also there. And he, declared that Tommy was fit for trial. So basically, they're going to use him to help them. And he's going to do it or he's going to jail. Alice wants the journal like everybody else. Everybody wants this fucking journal. And he's because apparently inside this journal there's some kind of fail safe or some kind of strategy or plan or whatever to take out Batman that Lucius Fox put together. So afterwards, Tommy makes a call to, I think it's his cousin or whatever, at a nightclub that he owns.
No, his money launderer.
Oh, they're not related though?
I don't think so. I didn't catch that part. Maybe. Well, you said cousin kind of confidently, so I'm assuming you heard that right. I just know it's his money launderer.
Yeah, I know that happens, but I think they're related. I'm not positive. So they call him and he finds out that that's where he hid the journal. It's just there in his safe, I guess. And so they know, and now Kate is getting ready, putting an outfit together because Mary's like, yo, we got to get you looking right. In case like, oh, the idea is to blend in, not to be like, all stunning and get everybody's attention. And that's when Mary's like, yo, you're gonna want to stand out, because in a place like this, standing out is blending in. And I'm just like, that sounds backwards as fuck, but okay. But she wants to go also. She's like, yo, look at this dress I got. I'm coming with you. But Kate's like, nah, bro. Julia's going with her instead, which, honestly, though, it makes sense, because if shit goes down, Mary can't defend herself.
This is true. Do you feel like they're trying, after this episode, do you think they're trying to get Julia and Sophie together, or they're trying to hint at it?
Oh yeah. They've had several almost kiss moments.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think they did kiss at one point, didn't they?
No, they almost did though.
Okay.
In this episode, they almost did, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or they came really close together.
I thought they did in another episode though. I'm not sure. It's been a while.
No, they got very close in the face, and I was like, "Yep, you're trying to do that."
Mm-hmm. So, show up at the club, and who's there but the bartender chick? And
Reagan.
Reagan. All right, that's the bartender chick's name, and of course they flirt, and Kate flirts back because obviously, or most likely, she's jealous of the Sophie and Julia thing going on, and on top of that, she still thinks old girl is hot. So
right? Why wouldn't she?
Yeah. And while they're in there, Julia turns off the lights, and Batwoman does her thing. She does a little night vision thing, looking around, like, journal's in this office. I got it, but for some reason, it's just sitting right here on the desk. Clearly, it's a trap, and it is. Julia gets caught. Batwoman gets captured. Things are not going well. So Mary and Luke know what went down. They're like, all right, we got to help. Mary wants to go in. Luke's like, bruh, I cannot do that. I can't send you in there. But she's like, look, bruh, look. How else we going to do this? Like, the dude who owns it, like, I think this may be where the cousin thing came from. She was, she knew his cousin because she like had to like pump her stomach or some shit because she, OD'd or something. Something went down and she had to fix it.
Yeah.
So,
she was like, talk to your mafia, talk to his mafia bros, or like his frat bro. I was like, man,
like you're not good at this at all.
Right? Have some respect for your intelligence, please.
Yeah. So then we cut back to the asylum because they told Tommy they're going to give him a new face. And now his face has been removed and he's all bandaged up. And I'm like, oh, here we go. There's Hush right there. So clearly he's not getting that new face. Huh?
Oh yeah, because like they peeled him and all that stuff, and
yes,
then because I also didn't realize, because I remember last week we were talking about it because we were talking about how Tommy came up then too, or was shown then, and you were telling me more about like Hush and all that stuff. And it's funny, when they bandaged his face, I didn't even think about it, and then I watched the trailers and the promos for next week, and I was just like, and that it's like now there's Hush, and I was like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
A new villain.
Yeah. And Hush is a really cool villain. Even the way they did it in the animated movie, which they did it in a very different way, but it was still very well done. It was still very interesting. You should check it out.
You should also use that for
Multiverse.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be Source since it's supposed to be since it's different here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So anyway, mob dude who may or may not be Tommy's cousin. I don't think he is now that I think about it. He's like, yo, I'm not giving you the journal because clearly you want it bad. So Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to
And,
this because clearly it's
and he's
valuable.
like, which is crazy that he sent someone who had access to his finances to do this, and then not expect him to like double cross him, because it was kind of just like, all your shit's frozen. Like, I don't really see you paying me that soon, so no.
So Tommy's tripping, but Alice is like, don't even matter, because guess what? I sent Magpie. So
It's like a degrees of separation thing here. I love it. And I forgot all about Magpie. I was like, who the fuck is this blonde bitch? Like, or this white-haired bitch? Like, and then I was like, okay, Magpie. I've heard that before. It's probably an old villain that I'm just not remembering.
yeah, I remembered her. I didn't remember her name until they said it. I'm like, oh, that's right. So they end up, sending Mary in, like we said, because she knows the old dude's cousin, and they're auctioning off Batwoman's life. Like, who gets to kill her? And Mary goes in, like she wants to, be in on the auction because she said, we need that suit. And the dude's like, well, you can have the suit after we kill her. Give me that money, because it wasn't the 10 million that she said she had. It was 2.5. And he took that. I'm like, yep, for 2.5, you can have the suit. And in the meantime, we got Big Daddy Kane going to see Alice. That meeting didn't go very well. I was really trying to figure out the point of it.
He likes torturing himself,
I guess.
I feel like a lot of things with like interactions like this, I feel like these are interactions you sought out.
Yeah.
You already locked her in there. And what did you think? You were gonna come by, talk to her, and she was gonna be like, thank you, Daddy. Thank you for taking away my freedom, despite the fact that I am insane and all that, blah, 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 blah. And just think that she was just gonna be,
Grateful for, yeah. She's not going to be happy to see you after you send her somewhere to get electric shock therapy on a regular basis. It's just
right. Especially after she just had like the fear toxin meltdown and all that stuff, and then like the way that they made it seem like they're going to be like a pseudo happy, fucked up family, to then rip it away from her again. Because like I feel like in her eyes, they have both left her again. So I can only imagine that's not going to sit well with her psyche. Yeah. And then sit there and think, yeah, of course she'll want to talk civilly to me. No, Papa Kane, fuck you. That was stupid to think that.
Yeah. So the reason he gives for being there is because he found out that, quote, Tommy Elliott, which we know isn't really him, was found dead, and he supposedly hung himself, and he thinks that she had something to do with it. And my thing is, once again, this is a waste of everybody's time, because we all know she's not going to tell you anything. But anyway, Batwoman and Julia are locked up. They eventually get themselves loose. I don't remember how it happened, but it happened.
Julia waited for the right time to like kick the dude who was pointing a gun at her, and then fought the lady who was talking all that shit. I think she killed her too.
It's entirely possible.
It looked like she broke her neck. Like it looked like she went like because she knows too much. Like and at first
because she's supposed to be on assignment and she's not. She's been like let go.
Yeah, and she was just like, I won't tell him anything. She was like, damn right you won't. Like I feel like she almost smiled watching it. She was like, of course you won't. Duh. And then I remember that happening, and then Mary did something that was good enough to distract and able to cut Batwoman free. Mary became very useful. Just know that. She held her own because it was within the parameters that she was able to.
Yeah. She's able to hold her own. If she has two well-seasoned, trained military fighters around, she can survive. So, Batwoman also gets her hands on the journal. And then let's see. Let's skip some shit. Oh, we didn't even talk about I guess this happens after that, the interaction with Magpie and Kate. Well, Magpie and Batwoman on the roof. That happened, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Exactly.
Yeah. I was like, do you really want to talk about that?
Yeah. Let's see. We got Kate. She apologizes to Mary. She's like, yeah, you're right. We can let you in, be a part of our realtor group, because they're in public, so they got to talk in code. And then Kate takes home the bartender.
She gets her girl.
Tender. Yeah.
I was like, oh yay, they're giving this relationship a chance again.
Da da da.
I was just like, The next scene, she wakes up the next morning and Reagan is gone. And I was like, okay, maybe Reagan was just like, I just wanted to get some thrills and I have to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope Reagan left because she just wanted to say goodbye and not because she is bad. And I was just like, God damn it, it's the latter.
Yeah. So while that's going on, Luke is also showing Mary the Batcave, and she's freaking the fuck out. Almost takes a picture with her phone, and Luke's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Bro, I was like, Mary, how do you fuck up already? You thought you could just take a selfie in the Batcave?
Yeah. But then this is when we find out that Reagan is Magpie's sister. And it's just, well, ain't that some shit? And she's helping her.
And they've been working together for a while.
Yeah, she's like, you cost me a great girlfriend, And she's like, yeah, well, you'll get over it.
Stop falling for marks, which lets you know that this is not the first time Reagan has done this.
Yeah, exactly. So then we see that Julia is also after the journal for some reason. So outside of the fact of her and Sophie looking for it, like she wants it for somebody else. Because she was on the phone with somebody. She's like, I'll have it. Don't worry. I'm like, okay.
Right. Because Julia been popping in and out here and there, At first, it was kind of like she came back because certain things, and then she's back again. And it's just like, okay, yeah, granted, I feel like based off my knowledge of Batman, which is really kind of mostly the extent of Christopher Nolan's take on it, and Tim Burton's. Like, I've seen the other old ones, but like Christopher Nolan, because of when it came to me in cinematic time, is the most prevalent Batman series I got. I'd like to assume that Lucius and Alfred also had a very close relationship, within the Bat team. So I felt like at first I was like, okay, maybe they're back because of the Lucius Fox thing. But like, aside from like prior to the knowledge of the journal that he was writing. And I was like, okay, because maybe Alfred has something, somehow connected to it too, blah, blah, blah. Not that he has something to do with it, but that he has something to do with that he's connected somehow. Or Julia would just be close to it in general because of her dad.
Maybe Alfred wants the journal.
Isn't Alfred dead though?
I don't know.
I thought they had mentioned that her dad had died. But I also thought about that. And I was like, maybe Alfred's like, to this day, Alfred's just like, nah, we got to protect my pseudo son. We got to get this journal, Julia. Now hurry on up so we can come on, so you can come back, we can have some tea, we can talk about our next plan.
Yeah. Because even if they did say he was dead, he could not be dead. Like, he can just, I haven't seen the body. So
that's how Christopher Nolan's ended. Like, they thought Batman had died. He's chilling somewhere in France with Alfred.
It's always interesting to me when I hear somebody tell me like what their Batman is. Because to me, like, you said your Batman was, the Nolan stuff. But my Batman was Batman the Animated Series. Like, that was my Batman. So it's just, yeah, there are movies, but I'm like, nah, this dude right here, that's my Batman.
You know what's funny? Batman has come up a lot for me lately the last few days. Like, it's come up several times in my work meetings. Like, all of our our icebreakers for those of you who also work at home right now, who have Zoom video conferences or whatever. We have icebreakers at my job just because to lighten up the spirit that we're working. But this week, all of our polls have been, who was your favorite Batman and who was your favorite Joker?
Yep. Kevin
Now,
Conroy, Mark Hamill was the answers. Go ahead.
The Batmans we had, the options were Christian Bale, George Clooney,
Michael
what's
Keaton.
his face? Yes, Michael Keaton, and who was the other one?
Val Kilmer.
No, Val Kilmer and Ben Affleck, because I think we had like 5 choices.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of split between, I think, Michael Keaton's
and Christian Bale
and Christian Bale's.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone kind of threw Ben Affleck out the window.
Yeah.
And Val Kilmer.
Christian Bale versus Michael Keaton is pretty much that old school versus new school argument.
Yeah. And
it's LeBron versus Michael Jordan. It's kind of the same thing, It's just,
and then
even though both of them clearly have a right answer. Anyway, continue.
And then Joker, Joker's was Mark Hamill, Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, and what's that idiot's name? Jared Leto. Not idiot, but like that foolish Joker. My manager, she oversighted Joaquin Phoenix. She forgot to put him in the poll, but like everyone was kind of like torn between Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger. Yeah, and then Jack Nicholson was like a close third. And so when we were talking about them, because we also go over like our opinions in a sense, because kind of like, oh, well, why did people choose this one and why did people choose that one, without it being like a judge center. And I was like, someone brought up the animated Batman, but like it wasn't one that everyone was thinking of. But when she put the animated Joker in there, I was like, this was a hard one because Heath Ledger did a great job live action wise. Like he didn't like that role, that role was made for him. And I feel like, but I was like, but Mark Hamill is like the GOAT. And we were talking, it was funny because we were talking about what's his face, Jared Leto. We were like, that's not his fault, man. He went really meta acting and that script was really fucking bad.
He did what he could with what he was given, and he was given something shitty, so he was shitty.
He had to it was shitty. But anywho, I thought it was funny that we started talking about that because it was something that has come up a lot this week for me, which makes me feel like something Batman news has to come out. Like I need an update on this godforsaken Robert Pattinson one that they are just really hell-bent on making.
Well, they delayed it because of COVID. They had already started filming, but they had to delay it because of COVID. But anyway, so this whole thing ends. Alice has the journal, but then she opens it up and realizes she can't read it because it's all written in code.
Because Lucius Fox ain't no dumbass.
Exactly.
Like he's not gonna write a kill switch and then write it in plain ass English for everyone to fucking read.
Exactly. I'm like, I bet Luke could read it.
Oh, I bet you he could.
He'd have to think about it for a while. It's not something he would read and be like, oh, I know what this is, blah, 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 blah. He'd have to think about it for a while.
Luke is going to be like, I remember my dad teaching me wingdings when I was 4.
It's going to be, some random obscure memory of something his father made him do every day for like 5 years straight that he hated. And then he's like, oh, this means, oh, shit. And then he can read it.
We're going to get a montage of flashbacks of Luke and Morgan Freeman. No other Lucius Fox but Morgan Freeman, just like he's also God. God is Lucius Fox. Like that's you can't convince me otherwise. And you also couldn't convince me that God is not Lucius Fox, who is also a lead of head assassins who kill people very well.
And also a very, very amazing high school principal.
And also a detective. Who also, on his spare time, does documentaries about animals and about the universe that he also created.
Who, because he's God, he was always there. He also fought in the Civil War. And coincidentally was very good friends with Robin Hood.
And also made it off of death row.
Oh. Get busy living and get busy dying.
We just went through like his whole filmography.
Yeah, we did.
I hate us so
much. We did.
But would we be lying? I literally wouldn't accept them to cast. And I'm putting it out there now. I don't want to see another Lucius Fox unless they are bringing, I guess, the one from Gotham. I haven't watched it, so I don't know if they've introduced Lucius on that show.
Yeah, they have, but he was very young because Gotham set way back when, so they have to like age him way the fuck up.
Would he have aged to Morgan Freeman though?
I don't know, because the thing is, the timeline with Gotham is weird because Gotham is set in modern times. You know?
No, I mean like is he black?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as that stays, I can feel like
Lucius has always been black, like always.
Okay.
So.
They can just always age him into Morgan Freeman. That's the only way I will accept if they ever bring Lucius or flashbacks. If not, then they got a cow and chicken it where they only show like him
the back
from
of
like
his
the
head
waist
or some shit.
down.
Yeah.
The back of his head or from the back. Like from the back or from the waist down.
Oh man.
The only way I'll accept it. Because if it's not Morgan Freeman, I don't want to see it.
All right, let me move on because we'll talk about this forever. Let's get to the Flash.
It's such a great topic.
Let's get to the Flash. Let's do this. So this episode was called what?
Pay the Piper.
And pay the piper they did.
Because they brought back a character that I didn't even remember.
Oh, you didn't remember Pied Piper?
Nope. But they also did kind of change his look.
A little bit.
When I say change his look, they just took away his glasses.
Yeah, like he, same powers and everything. So it was just like I remembered. I didn't remember his name was Pied Piper, but I remembered him. Same with most villains. Like I remember you, I don't remember what your name was.
Or what you do.
I remembered all that. I just didn't remember his name. So Joe is, being all sad and shit because he's in witness protection and he misses family, misses Boo Thing, misses baby. And Barry shows up and scares the fuck out of him and tells him about Iris because that was helpful.
My thing, I understood in the fact that he felt like he needed to share what was going on with Iris, but I was just like,
not right now.
You really didn't need to. You could have sent a letter.
Not even that. Joe is already tripping enough as it is. Leave him the fuck alone right now. All right. It's just, that's how I see it, but because it didn't help anybody.
Just write it down, send him like a snail mail kind of letter. Because by the time he gets it, you've probably already figured out the issue.
Especially right now, because mail takes 8 years now.
Facts. I ordered shoes a while ago. I haven't gotten any kind of information if they've even shipped.
Exactly. Like right now, like with Amazon, I'm still pissed at Amazon right now because they got the nerve to keep charging me for Prime without giving me 2-day shipping. Like, we're prioritizing essentials. I'm like, all right, well, you need to stop prioritizing my money then, because you still taking this money from me for Prime and you not giving me Prime benefits, motherfucker.
That's a fact.
Anyway. So
we'll never have Amazon as a sponsor now.
I don't give a fuck. I'm mad at them. So, Cisco right now, he is not doing very well. He's tripping. And then Barry goes off on him because he's tripping. And then Allegra and Nash are still having their weird shit going on. And it's a whole lot of...
How long is that going to go on for? How long is she realistically going to be upset about this?
I don't even know. I don't remember what she's upset about.
something about the fact that she's a lookalike from someone from his past and he's just being weird about it. But I'm just like, this is way too long to be upset about that. Because it's kind of like I think she feels like he has interfered or interrupted under false pretenses. And I don't know. I'm just making shit up at this point.
Yeah, I don't like. I remember there being something about her seeing what happened to the other one that looked like her, like to her doppelganger and shit, and how it was his fault that she died and shit. But I'm like, well, is she mad about that? I don't know. I don't remember what the fuck she's mad about.
Right. If you're upset because you feel like you can't trust your safety, okay, valid. He's already proven he can't take care of one of you, and like he doesn't show great judgment with one of you. I would understand not being cool with you. But to be upset that he has, kind of been trying to watch over you because of an old doppelganger, why the fuck are you upset about this?
Yeah.
You know how grateful I would be if someone was just randomly looking out for me because I looked like someone else?
Man.
Someone just sends me $50 from an unknown number. Here's $50, quick pay. Oh, okay. I'm $50 richer. I don't care why this came here.
I mean, you will care if you find out this dude's been sitting outside your window every day for the last week, and he gave you the $50 because he's been like stalking you.
I mean, I'd be a little upset about that.
It's okay.
I get over it unless he becomes violent.
This is okay. See, this is why I told you, just get a dog.
Just you wait.
So yeah, we got that whole shit going on. Everybody's arguing with everybody. And Cecile is trying to hold it all together, but it's just not happening right now. Let's see. Iris is starting to get that itching shit that Ava had, like, with the Eva, I mean, not Ava. Like she's scratching and her getting the headaches and all that kind of shit like Eva was doing. She's also doing this video diary thing for Barry just in case she don't get up out of there for him to find. Let's see. So then Barry's working on his, his Speed Force shit, trying to make his own. And then here comes Godspeed because, we needed him around.
Godspeed. Because why? What else do we need right now? Another speedster villain.
Yeah, we don't. It's not like we have enough going on already. We need to throw in this speedster villain too. So, however, by the end of this, I kind of figured out why, but we'll talk about that. So he shows up. He starts zapping away some of Barry's speed, but Nash shows up and gets him to run away because he uses his little pulse cannon thing on him. Yeah, the team is still really not getting along. But they do figure out that Godspeed uses vibrations to drain the speed from speedsters. So they kind of figure out how he's doing it. They still just don't know how to stop him, though. But they do know they need Pied Piper's help because he deals with vibrations. So Dimney goes to see Frost, and she's just, she's being all doom and gloom because, she's like, Caitlin's mother doesn't really know me like that, so I don't know if she'll be all right with me and all that kind of shit and blibbity blibbity blue. This is all just nonsense because they just got to have her do something. They can't just write her off like that, so they got to find a way to do it slowly. I get it. Whatever.
Congratulations to her, though.
Oh, yeah. So they realize, though, they're going to make a deal with Pied Piper. They're going to help his boy that got fucked up from fighting Flash, and Pied Piper will help them if they do that.
I realize there's this trend with shows, namely superheroes, when it comes to acknowledging LGBT characters, that it always has to be like some kind of slow reveal.
Yeah. Even though every time it starts up, you kind of know already.
Right. When they were just like, at first maybe showing what had happened at first. Okay, off the bat, you wouldn't have figured it out. You wouldn't have realized it. When they were just like, that was his right-hand man. And it was like, okay, maybe that's his best friend. Mm. And then the more you keep hearing him talk about it, like how obsessed he is over it. And I was just like, sounds like he's in love with his friend.
I'm about to say, it's
And
clearly your man. Like, that's what's happening there.
right. And then when they first tried it with Allegra and then it failed, he was like, you already took my whole world. And I was like, all right, say that's your boyfriend and call it a day. Like why you sitting here trying to make me guess? Like, you've already made it seem like you're either unrequitedly in love with him or this is your boo. And
yeah.
And I feel like at this point you don't have to tiptoe into it because we've had at least a dozen characters come through at this point now where there's been like an LGBT connection, you know, and I feel like The Flash has been going on for what, 5 seasons now?
Something like that. I think it might
Something
be
like
6.
that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like 5 or 6, because Supergirl, I think, is like a season or 2 behind it. No, like a season or is the same with it. And because I think even I was surprised by how many seasons in Legends was. I was like, 5? When the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, Legends is one behind Flash. And then
yeah. Supergirl, I think, is also like either one behind or it's at the same. But I was just like, we've had a lot of LGBT stuff on here, and we're in a world where
yeah, Flash is in season 6, Legends is on season 5.
Okay. And Supergirl?
5.
Okay. And it's just kind of like we've had a lot of, you don't have to brace us into it. Just come out and say, you know, you took the love of my life, blah, 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 and call it a day.
Yeah, like by this time, you know, Arrowverse fans, we know. And like it's just do it.
At least one show, every show is going to have at least one character.
By now,
at least one.
Every fan who still watches is cool. Like it's just nobody is going to bat an eye at it anymore.
Right. You gave us several same-sex relationships. You've given us transgender identities. Like, you know, I feel like at this point, if we're still watching, I don't need an ease in. Just, you know, show, bam, you did this, bam, he loves that guy. That's it.
Yeah. They could have just done that, but
the main character on the other show is just full out gay. So it's just kind of like, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay.
She is like exclusively vagina. Like there's no questions about it. She went into that club, like her sister tried to give her a dress to wear. She was like, fuck that, I'm wearing my tux.
On the show, off the show, exclusively gay.
Oh, man. So, Iris, she runs into Camilla. She finds her. And
which is funny because how long has Camilla been in there? Because Iris has been in there for, I think they said 9 weeks or 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. I think it's been 9. I think it was something high like 9.
I don't know.
It's somewhere between 7 and 9. We'll just say that. I'm gonna go with 9. Iris has been gone for 9 weeks. How long? I think Camilla said she was fooled for at least 5. Okay. And so that means Camilla has been in there for at least a month. And I find it funny that Camilla never went walking around, never stumbled upon them.
Well, Iris never went walking around either, though.
Well, I felt like it was, because I think at first, because Iris had Eva, I feel like she never questioned that there would be, like, Eva had her so blinded to there was other people there. It's just kind of funny that it just never, like, they never stumbled at some point across each other. But I realized that they've also been at 2 different labs the entire time. I think she's been at McCullough and she's been at Star. Just kind of.
So here's something that I thought was funny. So she tells
Captain Singh. Captain Singh hasn't gone anywhere and just thought maybe I should just pop into Star Labs.
Man, who the fuck knows where he is? They're gonna find him, so we'll see. But what was funny to me is when Camilla's, she's not trusting Iris, and she's like, "Tell me something only the real Iris would know." First of all, fake Iris knows everything that real Iris knows at this point. But all the things that Iris said to convince her was stuff about Cisco.
Right. I was like, did you really need to just rub it in our face how happy they were?
Not even that. It's just like, does she have any identity outside of being Cisco's girlfriend? Like,
no. Yeah, I feel like obviously.
Yeah.
Iris does not think that way because I feel like her identity is like she's just finding her identity outside of Barry and the Flash.
It's just like, bro, like is that all you know about Camilla?
And then my thing was that like the fact that she gave her about the Chewbacca t-shirt was the defining fact that really showed that she was the real Iris. But I was just like, why didn't you start with that one? Because obviously that would be something only you would know outside of Cisco and Camilla.
And so it's like somebody who was copied from you and knows everything you know. But But
I just feel like for that fact to be the one, like I feel like that.
Why didn't you start there? I'm with you. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you start with that one? Why would you just start with Cisco's the love of your life? Newsflash. Anyone could read a Facebook and get that.
Yeah.
You think Cisco's the most brilliant guy you've ever met? Also a newsflash.
Basically, most people think Cisco's the most brilliant guy they've ever met. So then we find out, though, because, well, first of all, their plan doesn't work to help Pied Piper's boo thing. Shit falls apart.
Hartley and Roderick. Hartley and Roderick.
Okay.
I got their names. They said Hartley and Roderick too many fucking times for me not to get it.
Okay. So, but then we find out that Pied Piper knows everybody's secret identities. Like, he knows Cisco's vibe. He knows Barry's the Flash, all that shit. But, that doesn't surprise me because everybody knows that Barry's the Flash.
Exactly. I was like, because that's not news. It's something that has continued.
Yeah, he don't even vibrate his face when he talks to people no more. Like, he used to do it, but now he don't do it no more. But anyway,
he was like, the hair gives it away, and I was like, I haven't seen that for a while.
Yeah. Cisco doesn't really try at all.
I was like, right. I was like, you could at least tie your hair up in a ponytail.
Like, at least Curtis, Mr. Terrific.
Right. Do what Curtis does. Braid your hair.
Like, it was just, at least he did that, because if he walked around with that big ass fro all the time, everybody would be like, you are clearly the same dude.
But
we never really solved the issue of how he got his hair braided so fast. But anyway,
they never addressed it, and that really upsets me.
Like I said, we say like at some point like he was calling Barry to come braid his hair real quick because he could do it fast. Probably. Every time they went out to fight. Anyway, so Godspeed shows up again. Doesn't go well, of course. Nash ends up having to give Barry a pep talk, give him the pep talk he needs. We got Cisco wishing he still had his vibe powers because who'd have thunk that he'd, regret giving up his powers?
But I feel like they've been kind of getting to that over time because, like, I feel like there's been like episodes where like the vibe power would have come through. I feel like he's always just kind of like, I feel useless because X, Y, and Z, because I gave my powers away and blah blah blah. And it's just like, I mean, you should have known that was gonna come, but I mean,
well, especially since when he gave him up, there was no real reason for him to do it. Like,
right, you gave them up because you thought Camilla would not accept them, and it turns out she wouldn't have given a fuck anyway.
Yeah. So then we got Cecile giving Barry a talk because Cecile gave Cisco a talk because he needed that. We flash back to Iris in the mirror world. She's not okay at all. Her and Camilla, they need to find Sing. So like, yo, let's do that shit. Godspeed's at the prison. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna get all my boys up out of here. Also, gonna give me what I want, or I'm killing 2 people at a time until you do. I forgot what he said he wanted though.
He said you're talking about Godspeed, right?
Yeah.
he wants Barry's speed, because as usual, it's someone who just wants speed, or he's going to kill someone every
Oh, it was that
60
simple?
seconds.
I thought that was what he wanted, but I was just like, it has to be more than that because he tried to take it once already. Why didn't he just do? Okay, but anyway,
I thought about that. I was like, why do all this when you could have probably just easily taken it earlier when you realized how much weaker he was?
yeah.
You could have just did this and been out. Like,
So,
which, no, I'll get to it when we get to the end because I realize it's a question I should ask at the end.
so Barry's like, all right, I gotta go fight this dude, and he does it. Like, I got just enough speed to beat him. So he goes out to do it. Godspeed whoops his ass, like gives him like the stiffest clothesline I've seen in a long time, like clothesline the fuck out of him. But luckily, Pied Piper ends up showing up and he helps, and they double team him. They do like Barry does the lightning throw thing along with Pied Piper's little sound wave thing, and they throw in the joke. They cross streams, and I'm like, yes, Ghostbusters.
When Barry was running outside of that building and all of a sudden his shit like just turned off, I was like, oh damn.
That's a hell of a time for that to happen.
You like 24 stories up in the sky and you just run out of speed. I would be shook.
Mm-hmm.
I would have already shit myself. I was like, ugh.
So they beat Godspeed, and when they got him down, they looking and he's leaking this weird electrical blue shit. And we see that it is charged sound. I don't know what the fuck that means, but okay, we'll go with it. They're like, yo, we can use this to help. Oh boy. So they use that and they help him.
Funny?
It works.
When they said, this is just what we need. And I was like, for what? For Roderick? The Speed Force? For both? I was like, what do we need it for?
Yeah.
These are all things that they're working with right now. So I was just like, is it for Caitlin? Is it like, what is it? Is it to get Iris out? What?
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It could have been anything. So we find out that this Godspeed actually isn't the real Godspeed. He's not actually like a person. And he keeps referring to the one who sent me, which I believe is Thawne.
When he said, we want your speed, I was like, who is we, my nigga? Who the fuck is we? And then when they said, who is we? I was like, yes. All I needed was for like, if this was on like Showtime or HBO, all I needed was for like Joe to pop up and say, who the fuck is we, my nigga? Like, that's all I needed in life, or at least to Seal to say it. Like, that's what I needed.
So yeah, I think it's Thawne. Like I'm pretty sure it's Thawne because I've heard that Thawne was supposed to be in this season, but they're not doing that because they ran out of time because they can't do any more episodes because the world fell apart. So then we get more of Dibney and Frost talking. He gives her little Dibney school diploma.
For life coach school.
Yeah. And then we cut back to Star Labs, and Barry, he gives the team the old inspirational speech, the we can do it thing. We're going to do this together. And Cisco is like, all right, I think I know how we can do this, and I know what I need to do. I'm going to go to Atlantis. And I'm like, oh, because the fish people can help. Cool.
That was, he said, so I was like, just casually go to Atlantis.
And then somebody was like, yeah. Then I think it was different. Like, finally, something from Crisis comes in handy. I don't even remember them going to Atlantis in Crisis, but okay.
Me neither. I don't remember them mentioning it. Like, I was just like,
Granted, a lot happened during Crisis, so it was just,
and that's why I was just kind of
forgot.
Right, and that's why I was just kind of just like, why do you say go to Atlantis so casually, like it's not called the Lost City?
He said he was going to Atlantis like almost as casually as him saying he was going to Atlanta. It's just.
Right. I was like, maybe that's what they said. Maybe we're fucking up, and maybe we misheard him say Atlanta's, Georgia. Or maybe this is kind of like a small little
Or
tie-in
maybe
for Aquaman.
he was talking, maybe he's talking about the water park down in the Caribbean, Maybe he's talking about that Atlantis. You know what I'm saying? Like
That would be so funny if they did that. They just CGI'd them at Atlantis Park.
Yeah.
And was like, and then Ralph would be like, I thought you meant the Lost City. He's like, no, that's not real.
It's not real. I'm talking about the water park. I just wanted to go swimming.
He's just like, obviously I meant the water park. Let's be serious, Ralph. Let's
or it's
get
like
into
something
real
like,
time.
yeah, there's no real Atlantis. My cousin works here and he's brilliant. So I'm coming here. He built all this shit. So I need his help. Like it's something like that. That would be hilarious. And then we see Eva, and she's in some kind of regeneration chamber because that makes sense how she could survive that long because Iris is about to fall apart after like no time, and she's been in there for years. So,
Right. Because I was, it's funny, when she started scratching earlier when she found Camilla, I was just like, maybe they're all allergic to the mirror dimension and they're just breaking out into hives.
Nah. See, they on green light. Oh, that's what happens when you on that shit. But anyway, yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm just kind of like, why the fuck haven't they recruited Jeff to help on some level?
A lot of people could use Jeff's help right now. Like, Flash could definitely use his help. Charge him up a little bit with some electricity, get some more speed going,
Probably could help him create a new Speed Force if they tried hard enough.
Yeah.
If he got Black Lightning and Lightning.
Both of them just, charging the shit. Yeah. They need the power source. They can be that power source. Or like, I'm sure Supergirl could use the help.
I'm sure Supergirl could help.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, that's it for the Flash this week. Like we mentioned earlier, next week is the finale. So we'll see what goes on there.
Yeah.
So Mara, tell me something. Who's winning this week?
Roderick and Hartley.
Oh, that's so precious.
That's the only one I can tell you.
I can give you that. Yeah, I'm thinking about everybody else is like close to wins, and it's just like they come with a caveat of that's not gonna go very well for you. Like we can kind of say Lex is winning because he got into the Fortress of Solitude, but that's not gonna end.
There's that. Right. And that's right. Like we're gonna show up next week and it's gonna be like, beat him the fuck up. Okay.
Yeah. Who's losing?
That was a harder one to figure out besides obviously saying off the bat Iris. Because after watching the promo for next week's, when Barry's talking to Eva's husband and he's saying, yeah, there's nothing left of your wife in there to save.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Iris losing is also an easy choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna say Sarah because her vision. But like it's not really inhibiting her.
Yeah, exactly. She's still kicking ass. Like
she can still do what she needs to do.
Mm-hmm. And she also got the power of seeing the future and shit. So
I wonder how long that will go on for.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that'll be it, I think, for this week's episode of Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow. We actually talked about all the other stuff early in the episode because Mara had to pee. So
wow, do you have to tell everyone that?
What, that you pee? Everybody pees.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
I don't know why that's just so weird to you.
It's not that it's weird. The whole world didn't have.
I think John had to pee during creation conversation. Shit happens, it's just.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Whatever.
So.
Anywho.
We're going to end this episode there. Don't forget you can follow us on both Twitter and Instagram at The Creation World. That is at TheCreatia World. As always, I'm not spelling world for you. Get a dictionary. Also, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Creation World. You can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Sir_Cussalott. That is at SIR_CUSSALOTT. Mara, where can they find you?
Always at Instagram and Twitter at Mara the Shark. That's MARADASHARK.
All right, that'll be it for this week. We'll see you all next time. Until then, we out.
Deuces and